welcome. You all heard already who we are. We're New Thought Center. I want to say thank you so much for being here this morning, seeing your lovely faces here. Those of you who are joining us on Facebook or on our website, or perhaps joining us later on YouTube, thank you for being here. We appreciate you so much. So we are a teaching center, as has been said already. And here's what we want you to know, that whatever you want, whatever your heart desires, is available for you, is available to you. What you desire desires you. And all you want to do is just speak what you seek into the universe. Speak what you seek into the universe. Because the universe just says yes. So if you're speaking things you don't really want to seek, it's coming anyway. So speak what you seek, and it will be here with you. That's what we know for sure. Last week we talked about, this is the love month, and February. And I absolutely love talking about it all year long. I'm always talking about love because, quite frankly, it's the only thing. It's the thing that matters. It's the thing that changes hearts and minds and all kinds of things. But we talk about different things throughout the year. This month I get to be a Love Jones person because this is the month it's for. So last week we talked about the power of love, because love is absolutely invincible. Love is invincible. It conquers all things, all doubts, all fears, all walls come down, all bridges are crossed. That's what love can do. If we understood that, when you understand that you are the happiest person in the world, knowing that all you have to do is be love for everything, just always showing up as unconditional love. And so we talk about what that looks like and why it's such a big deal. Today's talk is about what love sees, what it sees. When you look at someone with the eyes of love, what does it do for what you see, what your perception is of what you see? If you're expecting love, if you are giving love, and we know that whatever it is you want, you must become, right? You cannot give love if you don't know love. You cannot give love if you don't have self-love. So it all begins with you and then me together. This is what happens. So today, talking about what it means and what we see when we only see love. So loving unconditionally, I don't know if you know this or not. When people think that it's just like, this is not where you fall in love with someone. I'm not talking about that. Those things you can come and go, and divorces happen and all that, but loving unconditionally is a choice. It's something we choose to do. We do it for the good of ourselves first, and it also has so much coming back to us that it's good for the whole planet. But I'm reminded of a television show that I watch. I love Frasier, and it's been gone a long time, but I still go back and watch because it's so funny. And they had a physical therapist, a live-in physical therapist for Frasier's father, Daphne. And Daphne was British, and she was a bit psychic, according to her. She was a bit psychic. And so people would show up to the house, and she'd open the door, and she'd say stuff like, "You're here to see Frasier. Am I right?" Well, yeah, that's who lives here. But okay. but okay. And so she was doing that. They had some kind of a party, and she was going up to people and saying, "Oh, I'm a bit psychic." And she tried to read them, and she'd be completely wrong. And Frasier just standing around patiently with his smile on his face. And since she'd walk away, and he'd look at the person that she was giving the psychic thing to, and he'd say, "Yes, we know, but we choose to find it charming." We choose to find it charming. Okay? So you could get aggravated. He could have gotten aggravated. She's walking up to all his guests, talking about how she's psychic. The thing is what was in her heart was love. She was trying to help people. Now, it wasn't necessarily helping people. She thought she was. And so they chose, rather than to be upset about it, to love her anyway, to love her heart, what her intentions were. And that's what we get to do. That's why I want you to know that loving unconditionally is a choice. You can look at someone, and here's what we need to know. And I talk about this a lot because This is how it works. We're not perfect. We're perfect in God. Let me say, we are already perfect in God. But as we show up as human beings, we have our human tendencies. And we don't always show up even the way we like to show up, even the way we have said who we are. We talk about at the beginning of the year about looking at what your values are, and always at the beginning of the year looking at what are your top 5. We have a whole lot of values. But looking at our top 5s keeps it in mind so that when we're going out through the day, through our days, our moments, days, weeks, years, which adds up to be our lives, are we living to what our values are? And our values is what we choose to be. And one of the top ones for me, obviously, is God and spirituality, but also being a truth teller. I have to show up authentically. And people are always commenting about that. Oh, my God, I love how you just tell stuff on yourself. You know, you're always telling how you messed up in something. Yeah, because I mess up. And I want you to know that I'm not walking on water. I'm not walking on water. No, not walking on water. And I have a friend who has a theory about the walking on water. This is an aside because it's so funny. His name is Reverend James Mellon. And he says that, quite frankly, he's not really sure that Jesus did walk on water. All of his disciples were always drinking wine, and they're probably in some shallow water anyway. So they thought he was walking on water. But that's a different point. That's a different point. I'm not walking on water, and I don't have a lot of winos. Oh, I'm sorry, I do have winos. But whatever. I haven't seen anybody walk on water. I don't walk on water. That means I'm a human being. I make mistakes. We have to own that. If you can't own your mistakes, if you can't own how you didn't show up, how do you then turn around and correct it? How do you course correct if you don't own it? So I have to say, oh, I didn't behave in this situation like I wanted to. Like I wanted to show up, the love I wanted to show up, the love I know is here for me. And you know, we have ideas and we have thoughts and all those things are coming in our head, and it comes out, you could have done, no, did they even, I'm not even following my own directions. Did they ask a question? Absolutely not, but here I am giving advice. So I already know that's not gonna work. So I have to back it up. So, sorry, no, back it up, my bad. Do what you want, because you're perfectly in control of your life and capable of making decisions in your life. So yeah, we get to do that and make a different choice the next time. If we can clean up what we did this time, clean it up. But if we can't, let it go. It doesn't help you to beat yourself up and say, so just acknowledge, yep, that's not how, I didn't show up at my best. I'll do better next time. That's it. That's all we're going to do. So it's about making a choice that we get to show up and what we want to see when we look at not only our loved ones, and our loved ones are really, quite frankly, the hardest thing to do when it comes to love because we've been living with them a long time. We get, what is the word I'm looking for? We just get accustomed to them, and we forget. I was reading an article, and I couldn't find it. I thought I'd saved it for you guys to read because it was really so good. But the bottom line is that we forget to be grateful for the little things that people we live with and with all the time do for us on a regular basis. On a regular basis. We forget to say thank you. And even if we don't have to say thank you all the time, just an appreciative glance, we don't even do that. And one of their suggestions is just to be with someone that you care for and tell them you're doing this. Listen, I'm going to observe you all day. I'm going to write down all the great things that you do so that I can remember to thank you for those things. Because you just do it automatically. But I am benefiting from these wonderful things that you do. So the list will be huge. All of us can do that. And that's a gratitude list. And you talked about this. This is her word. This was Joe's word for today was grateful and gratitude. And this is one of the things that we want to be grateful for and have gratitude for the people that are with us all the time doing these wonderful things, just showing up as themselves. That's what love sees. Love sees all the good that people are doing. And if we're not doing that, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just come back around and remember to do that. So there was what I want to tell you about this, the point of being able to make a choice, knowing that loving unconditionally is a choice. The law of control, there are physical laws on the planet and there are mental laws. And the mental law of control says that we are happiest to the degree that we feel in control of our lives. Okay? We're happiest to the degree that we feel in control of our lives. We're in control of our lives when we are choosing to do things. We're not just automatically autopilot doing stuff that, well, we're not even aware or awake to what we're doing. That's autopilot. You're not even aware. Or you're just being moved around by what other people are doing. Instead of having a conscious thought that, yes, I agree with that. I will do it this way. Or no, I don't agree with that. That has not been my experience of truth or whatever it is. So that is taking control of your life, deciding what you want to believe, what you think at any given occasion, and not just following the crowds off the cliff. That's where you're happiest, knowing that you are taking control of your life. So I was just another thing about looking with the eyes of love. When I was living when I was living in Vietnam and then we moved to Thailand, I met this woman. Her name was Takti Sa. Sa was her last name. They all start their name with the last name, Takti. And Sa is her first name, and so Sa. And she became a person who helped us a great deal. She would go to the markets and buy things that the locals could buy cheaper, because as soon as they knew you were a foreigner, the price was raised. That's just automatic, and that's fine because we do make a whole lot more than they do. So they automatically raise the price, no problem. But she would go, and she'd go to the market for us, and she'd buy stuff, and she'd get us great prices, and we'd tell her, okay, well, listen, if you get us a great price, we'll give you the difference. We'll just give you the difference, because we would have paid it anyway. So that's how she was making money. And then she started doing other things for us, and we became really good friends. She moved in with us, became a live-in housekeeper, and just took such great care of us. And when we left Vietnam, or when I left Vietnam to go to Thailand, she went with me and helped me find a house, and she did all the cooking and all this kind of stuff. She's just a sweetheart and a knucklehead. A knucklehead. She will not listen to anything you have to say. She thinks, first of all, she's 1 year older than me and several years younger than Jason, but she thought she knew so much more than we did because we're foreigners. I'm sorry, honey, you're in Thailand, you're a foreigner too. So, what? So we couldn't tell her anything. That's okay because her heart was big. So we had a gathering one evening, and she did all this wonderful cooking, and I think it was Jason's birthday, and we had about 30 people over, and she did all the cooking, and everybody, she just had her come out and just really loved what she did, so they fell in love with her. So right after that, we had a big party at this place called Underwood's Factory. Underwood's Factory was an actual furniture factory. It's a huge furniture factory in the back, but in the front, he made a theater out of it, a stage and all this kind of stuff. So we'd have all kinds of wonderful pop operas and musical gatherings and whatnot. So we were celebrating this pop opera that we were doing, and we just had this big old party. So my friend came, and she was there with us, and I'm working, and Jason's kind of working the crowd and all that, and she's just dancing and having a great time, but all my friends are sending her drinks. Okay? Yeah. Just drinking away, just laughing and drinking away, just laughing. Drunk as a skunk by the time the night was over. She didn't know what was happening. PJ, I feel sick. Yeah, you're drunk, honey. So we had to actually carry her out to the car, get her in the house, carry her to the house. She was sick all day long. My point is this. Jason and I always talked about when she was doing knucklehead stuff, and it's like, it's okay, because there's nobody in the world whose heart is bigger than this woman. She has the heart of a hero and a champion. There's nothing she wouldn't do for us. My sister came over to visit us. I think she stayed for about a week, Brandon's mom, and she still talks about Sa today. She still talks about her, how great she treated her, because she is a wonderful person. We chose to see her heart, not what she was doing on a daily basis. Even some of the things she was doing on a daily basis was great. But even some of the knucklehead stuff, we just let it go. Just let it go, because her heart was so huge. So it didn't matter. So you see what I'm saying? We get to make a choice about what we're going to focus on. What do you think is important? And that's just a question for you. What's really important in your relationship? Is it the knucklehead stuff, which everybody does, believe me? Or is it the heart? Is it the heart that the person is bringing to the table? And if you're with somebody who doesn't bring heart, the question I'm going to ask is, why are you with them? Why are you there? If they don't have any heart, why are you there? They're not going to get that. And you can see them, and you can look at them, and you can watch, and you can be love for them, but you don't have to be around them. To love somebody, I think we get confused about that a lot in New Thought. We think that to love people means we need to be around them. No, you can love them from afar. I love many people from afar. They can't be in my circle. They're not ready yet for that. And that's okay. That's okay. There's no judgment there. It's just knowing what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing, and they don't love themselves enough to love me. Do you understand that? People have to love themselves enough first before they can love you. So if they don't love themselves, they're not going to be able to love you. Okay, but you can still love them. Whenever you're around them, you don't have to be around them long. Just share some love and move on. Move on. That's what we get to do. That make sense to you? Do you understand what I'm saying? Good. Because it's all about love. And I'm pointing out and talking about loving other people, but really, it starts with you. When we were in the board meeting yesterday, one of the things that Martha told us for the board, she says, your first job is self-love and self-care. That's the first. You can't care for anybody else if you guys don't take care of yourselves. You have to do that. Set some boundaries. Set boundaries. People don't need to be in your life that are wreaking havoc over your life. That's not love. That's not self-love. You can very gently release people from your life if that needs to happen. It's okay. Until they're ready to be something else, and they may not. It's okay. It's okay. It's not yours to do. It's not yours to do. It's okay. So the action step that I want to send you out with is see what you see. See what you see, meaning consciously see what you see. Consciously look at people. Don't look at people and then have another old assumption. Oh, and I told you that story about me being on the train and this black woman was just talking loud. I was like, oh my God, hood rat. You know, that's old stuff. I don't know that woman. I didn't know her. And I heard that she was having some issues. I could have helped her, but instead I labeled it, and that kept me away from her. When you label people, when you label things, it keeps you from being able to do what you can do. Okay? So we need to do that. We need to do that. Just see what you see consciously and watch your thoughts. If you have a negative thought about something or someone, just choose to see the truth. We are all individualized expressions of God, everything. Everything, everywhere. They may not be expressing like you are, but they are expressing. And that's their right to do so. Just see the truth. That'll let your heart be free. You don't have to label anything. You don't have to worry about anything. Just see the truth about who they are. You can change your mind in the moment. If you're heading down a path, you don't want to be there, change your mind. I don't want to think these thoughts. Well, then think something different. You can change your mind just like that. Just like that. That's a lot of course correction that I do during the day. Because I'm walking down the street, I'm thinking, oh, her dress is none of my business. Oh, he's got nope. You don't know anything about that person. Just stop the thought. Just stop it. There's just automatic thoughts that happen. They don't mean anything. Stop it, though. Don't keep going down the path. Stop it. Change your mind in the moment, and if you can't change your mind in the moment, this is the fourth thing, then reflect later. When it comes back to you, just reflect later and think about how would you do it differently, if anything. 4 things. Just see what you see consciously. If you see something negative, choose to see what's true. Change your mind in the moment, and if you can't do it in the moment, reflect and change it later. That's what we get to do, to make sure that we are living the life we want to live. That is control of our lives. That is where happiness comes in. We are in control of our lives through the choices that we make. So we choose to see love in all things, in everybody you meet, despite how they may be showing up in the moment. I was picking up Jim this morning, and I went to go into his building, or into the gate, and I was like, what's happening here? There's a huge piece of tape going across the front, and I was like, are they fixing the asphalt? What's happening? Okay, so I started to back up, and I thought, no, that's not what's happening. I'm gonna blast through this. So he opened the gate, and I just blasted through it. And I was like, what's going on? He said, yeah, somebody was just upset with us living in this building, and so they just decided to tape it all down so nobody could come through. That's what they decided to do. Despite how whoever that was showing up, we could just love him, we could send love. Even though I never saw him. Obviously, the person was upset about something. We just send him love. It's okay, baby. All good. Don't worry about it. Shh. Woosa. Keep moving. Keep moving. That's what we do. We can choose to see love despite what is showing up in front of us. Why? Because every moment is your life. Every moment you live is your life right now. That's all there is. There's no yesterday. That's gone. Tomorrow ain't here. It's here. here, right now, today, in this moment. That's all we have control over. So, live awake. Live awake. Draw love and all of its characteristics into your life by being love. We are magnets. We are magnets for like minds. So you want love, you want to draw love, be love. That's why we say that. Whatever it is you want it, be it. And it draws right into you. This final quote for you. This wondrous energy of love is available merely by our use and conscious recognition. When we choose to love one another, we transcend the lower personality perceptions, because that's all these are, personality perceptions. We transcend that and we rise to a higher truth. We recognize our oneness, our wholeness, and our interconnectedness. Harold W. Becker, from his book, Unconditional Love, A Way of Being. A way of being. That's what unconditional love is. So see what love sees every single day. Namaste.